From Toronto, Phanta Media presents the Not So Corporate Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Not So Corporate Podcast. My name is Mark Drager. I am your host. Thank you so much for joining us for this very special episode where we kind of stumble through trying to figure out what we're actually going to talk about. No, that's not true. We're going to be speaking about Periscope, which is a great app that allows you to share moments, to allow you to see the world through others' eyes. And we're going to play around with it a bit and talk about it today. I am joined not with our normal people. Roland is unavailable, and as well as Leah. So I'm here in the studio with Kyle Wilson, our head of post-production. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, it's great to be here.
You sound excited. Mm-hmm. And back by popular demand, because he was so fantastic last time, we got Louis Vizanios.
Good afternoon, Mark.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
You're just being polite.
Say it again.
Vizanios.
Say it again.
Vizanios. If I say it fast enough, it doesn't count, right?
No.
Vizanios.
Vizanios.
Yeah, not an A, an E.
Vizanios.
Like Zen.
Vizanios.
Yeah.
Vizanios.
That's good.
That's good?
Yeah.
How you doing, Louis?
I'm well. How are you?
You came out of the last podcast like shadow boxing. You were like.
I felt like Jake LaMotta after that podcast.
I don't know who that is.
Raging Bull.
Oh,
Jake LaMotta.
Movie reference, of course. I watch lots of movies. Actually, pretty much every movie reference you make, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. I didn't check the levels earlier, but how are the levels on your headphones, guys?
They sound great.
Yeah, you don't need more?
I need a little more.
Okay, then you need to adjust your own over there. I can only give both of you more. Well, as I mentioned in today's podcast, we are going to look at Periscope. It's one of many apps that are out there now that is making an effort to help share live moments, interact in real time. It's pretty cool, but at the same time, I think because it's so early on, it's still trying to get its legs. And so I've been what do you say, creeping? I've been stalking. I've been on there quite a bit, looking at what others are doing. But I don't know if anyone's really figured it out yet, because the ad for Periscope shows like people hot air ballooning, people in like worn torn villages, people scuba diving and skydiving and doing like really cool things. Yep. But the thing is, I get up and I drive to work, and then I work, and then I drive home, and then I spend time with my kids, and I do that over and over again. So what I'm struggling with is like, and I'm going to ask you guys, what is it that people actually talk about there? Like if your life isn't as exciting as like torn villages, what are you sharing?
Everyday life.
Does anyone care about that?
Yes. Yeah, it's weird. Yes. It's like a voyeuristic thing. It's really weird. Like I watched someone in Thailand making breakfast. It's just, I don't know, it's fascinating.
Did you give them little hearts?
No, I wouldn't do
if you
that.
tap the screen,
no, I don't.
They give them hearts.
No.
Did you talk to them?
No, I just watched like a voyeur.
Oh, see, I like talking to them because you can hear the people laugh because they're reacting. Yeah. So this guy yesterday was giving a presentation on he's giving a presentation on how to virtually how to set up virtual assistants. And it was pretty cool, actually. He just took his phone, he pointed it at his Mac, and he just ran a seminar the way he normally would. So I think that was kind of a cool hack in order to get the live seminar out there without scheduling anything. And he could take questions in real time. It's a bit weird. People jump in and jump out like halfway through a presentation, which is what we're probably going to experience today, because we're going to actually Periscope live a little later. We're gonna Periscope our podcast on Periscope.
Did you give people a heads up on Twitter?
I did not. No, we will have tens and tens of people check you guys out.
We should tweet that out right now.
You should just lie and say like Jimmy Fallon will be on the Phanta Media podcast. Please tune in on Periscope.
And then give it one day because it's got to get around. No, but seriously, so what would you guys do with it? Like that's my biggest concern with everything we do, including this podcast, is that I don't know if anyone cares about what we have to say. Like, well, no, in this podcast, I know no one cares about what we have to say. But if I were to Periscope, it would. What do you talk about?
Well, the way people are using it right now, and you're right. People are kind of like, it's kind of like the situation of like throwing things at a wall and see if they stick situation. So right now, people are using it for, like you said, impromptu engagements, like trying to connect with people, like this seminar that you mentioned earlier. And excuse me, and we know certain celebrities are using it to either get feedback on maybe some music that they're working on, like with the case of people like Madonna.
That is a really cool idea. I never even thought, like,
It's the evolution of like the live cam, the live webcam you used to like log into.
Yeah. Now, I mean, so the coolest things I've seen on it is Chris Hardwick from Nerdist happened to be interviewing the Violent Femmes, and while they were there, he said, "Hey, can you guys play Blister in the Sun? And can I sing along with you?" And they said, "Sure." So they periscoped out live him singing a song with a band. That was super, super cool. It was like behind the scenes. You would never see it. It's great access. But they inherently have something of interest. And then, I just haven't seen anything else cool like that. I mean, I've seen a lot of churches. So a lot of people in the U.S. churches have jumped on this fast.
It's huge.
They're like, hey, let's put out our sermons. Let's put out our youth groups. Let's put out our worship retreats. Let's put out our conferences. Like they're just preaching. They're on it. Someone sent out an email to every single Christian in America and got them on it. But when it comes to like,
Fallon uses it. I think he does sort of like an impromptu like AMA type thing.
So basically what I'm hearing is this is a great tool for people who already have something. They already have the X factor, or they already have a following, or they already have stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's less.
So this is a terrible tool for us. Like what we do as content producers is we produce content for other people.
Well, who wants to watch you edit all day? Like no one. I tried that, and no one wants to watch it.
Did you Periscope it?
I just put it pointing at my desk, and
did you interact with people? Did you talk to people?
No one asked any questions.
What was the title?
Video editing.
Did you talk as you did it?
No.
So that's the thing.
I guess you have to talk. Yeah,
so like I thought this was funny because I have a really dry. I find things funny that aren't funny. So like I got downtown early at like 7:30 one morning for a 9 a.m. meeting, and so I periscoped from my dashboard the parking lot I was sitting in.
Okay.
And I called it, "What do you do when you get downtown early before your meeting?" And I didn't say anything. I just blasted out basically an empty parking lot with like one parked car. And then a few people checked it out and left because I wasn't doing anything. And I thought that was really funny because it's like stupid. But if you want to do something of value, then I suppose it's like any other medium. It's like Facebook. It's like anything else where this is a great way to get access, instant access. If you're doing something cool, if you're doing something interesting, if you have something to say. Want to get
sometimes you don't need to have something to say because like I think people just like the immediacy. So, like, oh, I want to see the Eiffel Tower. Okay, there's someone that's pointing it at the Eiffel Tower right now, and you're like, oh, that's cool.
Is this not like I made a decision a few months ago not to Facebook anything that didn't put someone else or something else ahead of myself. So I would never say I am on the best vacation ever. I would say something like, "Oh, my children are enjoying the beach."
Yeah,
like it's not about me; it's about them. I wouldn't say like I'm so excited to go out to this special conference.
Right.
I would say like, "Oh, it's so nice to meet up with friends here." Yeah, and I try not to make it about me, but someone else. Is there any room for that? Is there any room for that kind of attitude in this, or is this like really like me, like look at how cool I am, look at what I'm doing?
On the face of it, it seems that way, right? Because, let's be honest, this is basically Twitter's visual component, right? Because Twitter is a word-based social media device, and this is a way for them to kind of lend images to that aspect of it. And I think you're right. I think on the face level, yes, but excuse me, there's ways to subvert that. And I think the way that you do that is like, here's an example that kind of just came to my head is, what if you just start producing content like little short movies where you don't know kind of what's going on and you're live streaming it, and then almost like a fan fiction element comes in where people start responding to like how to write the script as you're shooting this Periscope movie.
So
right?
like basically on stage improv, but with instant anywhere interaction.
Right.
Very cool.
So like you can subvert it that way, and like Kyle said, this is the age of the mundane. This is the era of the mundane. So there's interest in those things.
Like if people watch video blogs, it's just reduced content, like 5 hours of someone talking down to 3 minutes. They're gonna watch this.
Yeah, so I have to say, like one of my favorite things to watch. Do you guys know Bob Ross?
Yeah, love Bob.
I love Bob Ross, the painter from the 80s, where he's like, let's make ourselves a happy little cloud. And then he'd be like, it's okay, folks. You make a mistake, you just paint right over it. Like, he's like, I love watching him to fall asleep to, because he is like, he you know what, in 1982
Bob Ross Periscope.
Bob Ross Periscope. In 1982 he was probably considered like
I'm taking that idea.
Like okay. Yeah, run with it. In 1982 he was okay. By the time the 90s came around, it's like, dude, this guy's really boring. But by the time we came to 2015, he's perfect for right now.
Absolutely.
It's like 30 minutes or 22 minutes or whatever it is of a single camera shot of a painting and him talking to you and just painting. And it's like somehow it went from being like pretty okay to being terribly boring and old to being like perfect for today. It's perfect for YouTube.
Absolutely.
That has to be our experiment. After this is done, we have to set up a laptop with a Bob Ross video on it, put a camera in front of it, and do a Periscope. It would be like a total meta experiment.
Okay, so that brings me to the next thing. Like, so everything that I think that I want to Periscope, I usually immediately think this has got to be a copyright issue. So, you know, Chris Hardwick from Nerdist, great video because he had the Violent Femmes there and they were on board with it. But if I'm at a concert, if I'm at a movie, if I'm at any kind of event or see anything or hear any song or do anything like that, am I just too square? Am I too corporate and worried about copyright issues, or are you gonna get tagged the way that YouTube's tagging everyone these days?
I don't know, because you get around that on Instagram and people get mad because people use their stuff, but it's like you're using Instagram, like you're accepting their terms of.
Because Instagram is using your stuff, you mean? Or because people...
If you post on Instagram, it's not necessarily yours, unless there's been a court case decided otherwise, but it's out there for people to use.
I'm not thinking in terms of the copyright holder of my content, my IP, as the person putting it out. I'm thinking about me as the Periscope user using other people's stuff. So if I'm at a concert and Jay-Z's up on the stage and I'm like, this is perfect to Periscope, let's bring people in live.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you like... I don't know, or maybe you're Taylor Swift and you're taking, you know, and you're at the concert and you're live streaming our concert, and they're just like, you cannot do that. Like why would anyone? I mean, there's something to being live, but one of the coolest things I saw on Periscope as well was a guy who was at a concert and he just kept saying, I'm at this concert in Colorado, and he's like screaming, and we were like being like, hey from Canada, hey from Mexico, hey from the UK, and people are loving it because you're like taking in the live concert without being there. Why do you got to pay $200 for a ticket? You Periscope it, yo.
Yeah, I mean, it's a concern. But that's kind of always been a concern when you deal with...
disruption.
Yeah, and at what point is it advertisement or brand awareness for the content holder, or the content producer, rather? Or is it just like a blatant ripoff? Like at what point do you draw that line? You know?
I don't know. Should we try this out?
Yeah.
Should we try this out? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. This could either go terribly or very interesting.
Too bad you don't have a stand or something to kind of...
No, we're going to hold it. So while podcasting, I'm actually going to Periscope out. We're going to Periscope this, but you guys won't be able to see the screen, but I'm going to be videotaping you guys.
Okay.
So let's see how this goes. Okay, here we go. Ready? So what do we see right now? So podcast
you can't.
in Periscope. Oh, I can't spell. How do you spell Periscope?
I would not diminish the accomplishment of that app and that technology. That's something people don't really think about, but
about how awesome this is?
Well, they've made it so trivial, but like the engineering that goes into that is significant. Like live streaming is not a cheap thing to do.
How do you spell Periscope real quick?
Periscope.
Yeah, okay, spelled it right then. It's really hard for me to spell things when the little red underline doesn't tell me if it's wrong.
You got to turn that off.
Podcasting about Periscope on Periscope. Start broadcast. Here we are. Okay, so we're live right now.
So do you put a message to say like what you're doing, or
exactly? No, you put the message what you're doing right now. I'm live right now, and we have one person with us.
Oh, sweet.
We are Periscope. We are podcasting about Periscope on Periscope while Periscoping. Hey, David.
Then I should Periscope you, and then it becomes this weird Inception thing.
Yeah, let's all Periscope.
Okay, so real quick, all those on Periscope, I hope you can hear me. Actually, just give me a little message if you can, because we actually had to hack. We had to
Send us
hack
hearts.
the iPhone into the soundboard. But this is the Not So Corporate podcast, and we are talking about Periscope today.
Periscope.
Why would anyone use this if you have nothing to say? So if you're a star, if you're a musician, if you run something, if you're a journalist, if you're something like that, I could totally see Periscope being awesome because it gives you access. If you're on vacation,
Right.
if you're a mountain climber, but what would you use it for? What else would you use it for if you just have nothing to talk about? Louis, thoughts on that?
I mean, like I said,
Kyle, I
it's
just saw that.
is
Kyle
weird.
just said, "Whoa."
This is weird.
this is the social media equivalent of like an MC Escher painting.
Cool. Carry on, Louis.
Anyway,
I think I kind of chimed in with some reasons for doing it. But like I said, I think it's going to be about the subversion of it, the taking it and doing different things with it.
Yeah.
Things that we didn't expect or that weren't on the surface right away.
My title is too redundant. I loved my title.
it's access to something, but it's also the ability to broadcast something easily.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm a wordy person. So the title was podcast about Periscope on Periscope.
That's
Clearly
it's a
you're
joke.
on Perry. Oh,
but that's okay.
okay, cool. Thanks.
Wait, what was the comment?
The comment is that my title's redundant, but it was a joke.
Oh, okay.
I'm terrible at. I really
What do
like
you need,
this
like
user.
three
This-
ellipses to be
this-
like on Periscope?
This
And then they're
user
like,
is
it's a joke.
funny. I really like it. So I love the live interaction, and so again, what I was saying though is I'm not sure if we're hitting that bar. I don't think right now this is the most interesting thing we could be doing with it.
Can you share it afterwards though? Like we've done the whole thing and it's over and done with. Can you share a link so you can watch it?
Well, yeah, it'll be tweeted out. So it'll be on your Twitter feed as a link, as a live Periscope. It also notifies anyone who's following you.
No, but
that
once you're done the
live.
Periscope, are you able to watch it again, or is that it? It's like Snapchat, like it's just gone.
No, it's there.
Oh,
Oh man, I get shit colored heart. Yeah, users
Brown
answering
hearts?
all your questions. 24 hours. Welcome to Periscope. It's up for 24 hours, but if you don't delete it, it will be accessed for up to 24 hours. There you go, Kyle. Someone who knows a lot. Oh, and she's been on for a month, so she's like,
because like I would have
This person-
Periscoped that rant I had this morning if I knew it
That
was
would've
only
been
going to be allowed on there for a few hours.
and the rant was what that pavers,
Pavers.
Sorry, I'm not going to get a shot of you, Kyle. But what happened? So pavers blocked.
So
the
I'm
entrance.
driving to work, and this is it's like a game of cat and mouse. The first day I'm driving, and I turned down one street, but for this particular day, which I guess was 2 days ago, they blocked it off. So I'm like, okay, I need to. It's annoying because there's no other way to access the office unless you go from one street prior to this turn. So I had to do a U-turn on a busy street and double back and take another way. Then I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep going that way for the next 2 days. And today I try and go that way, and it's blocked at this alternate route.
So you're mad at hardworking men and women who
They're
make a
not
living.
hardworking because there was like 8 of them that were just sitting there, and there was like 2 guys that were actually doing some work. So it's like you're paying for all of these people to sit around. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. And I know they just want to have a job for the whole summer and not for like a few weeks, which is probably what the work takes. But
No, the thing that kills me is that they're paving a street that got paved 2 years ago. Which
yeah, that's confusing. There's nothing wrong with this street. I'm very confused by that.
No, tax money. But anyway, one of the people here, he is mad.
Markham.
I love this interaction. One of the people here, the person who's been talking the most, other than me, of course, said tips on how to get people to follow you on Periscope. Okay, so here are her tips.
Okay.
And if she hits something again, I'll read out her username because I forgot it. But it is at XOXO_Taylor.
As in a Taylor Swift fan? A Swiftie?
Her name's Taylor.
Oh.
Okay, so here's a secret. Okay.
A Swiftie? Is that what they call them?
Yeah.
So here you go. So according to XOXO_Taylor, the best way to get Periscope followers is to, 1, be a girl. So,
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
so Louis, how's that working out for you?
I obviously not well.
And then number 2, she didn't give me a number 2, but that's okay.
That's it. Yeah, makes sense.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, this has been a lot of fun. It's been fun being
But
on
what if we
Periscope.
did the whole Wayans thing where they became white women for one movie and we just
The Wayans
transformed
brothers?
ourselves?
Oh yeah, white chicks.
Would we gain?
Oh, here you go. She's got 500. She's got 500 followers in 1 month. And
How
all
is that possible?
She talks. All she ever does is talk.
See, you need to be unfiltered and just put it out there.
Only because depending on your age and your hotness level, then that might have something to do with it. This person.
Well, that's how it works on YouTube too, right? Like it is
Dave
pretty.
takes his shirt off for
vain a lot.
followers.
Yeah.
Hello, Dave. How's it going? How's it going, buddy? We haven't talked in a while.
What
Dave, are you there? Can respond if you're there.
is this like Dave? Well,
He has 5 followers. Okay, so Dave is someone that I know because he was. Hold on, real quick. How's your wife? How's your wife, buddy? She's. Have you guys had the baby yet? This is so weird that I'm just instead having a one-way conversation with him. But
Can you
great,
ProRes
no baby
on
yet.
Windows?
okay, so real quick.
No.
Okay.
No. Wait, does MPEG
just had
Streamlip
the
have
movie.
support for ProRes?
I don't know.
built in? I'm not, yeah.
Okay, so real quick, so it's
I got a
interesting.
question for somebody.
At Fodley, I can't remember how to say your name, Dave. Anyway, he was the music pastor at my church, and we became friends. And then he
Okay.
decided to go off and become a teacher.
Now
And we
he's on
haven't spoken
Periscope.
since Christmas, but apparently he's now here watching us podcast.
You should do
That's awesome.
Seriously, Dave, exactly. Why would you go off to become a teacher? But anyway,
He
so
could do Periscope lessons and then become huge.
he could. So the secret, he has 5 followers. The secret to followers is take off your shirt.
Okay.
Or you can be like Taylor, who got 1,700 followers in like one session by
Being a female gender.
he's in it for the money. He's in teaching for the money. This is a one-way conversation that I'm probably enjoying far more than you guys sitting here who I'm filming.
No, it's fascinating.
Is it, Dave?
So
Dave,
if you
man,
talk
we
about
got
tanning,
we got to
you'll
get
more
together.
followers.
We got to get together for lunch sometime. I know you live in. He lives in the
Schwa?
hipster part of town. No.
The hipster part of Oshawa?
No, he lives down in Liberty Village. I don't know how much
No,
private
that's not
information
hipster anymore. That's just
I don't know how
gentrified.
much private information I should give away about them. But listen,
Hipster is
man,
Queen West.
I
Come
hope
on
you
now.
guys. I hope everyone's doing well. Thanks for joining us. This has been a bit of fun. It's been more fun for me than probably anyone else. It hasn't been a total train wreck.
Nope.
How old are you dudes? Oh, Taylor wants to know how old you are.
I'm 40,
No, you're not. You're 20. Kyle, how old are you? 29?
29.
29, going to be 30 soon. You're mid-30s? Should we go with
17 and a half this year.
Mid-30s. And I don't know how that shot is. I'm 32.
That's a good shot.
That's a good shot?
Yeah.
I'm 32.
Taylor said to
Oh
keep
my
talking
God.
or else people leave.
So
We
just
only
keep
got-
That
talking.
scares me because it's like
We only
gotta
got
go
5
after.
people. We
I
only
don't
got
know.
5
They
people.
should be here.
We haven't broken
Sheep's
5?
crying. Sheep's crying. I don't know. We got up to 7. We got
We got
up
to break
7.
10.
I don't know if the cries are like joy or like pain.
I think everyone needs to
Somebody-
keep
Taylor
watching.
is 17 and a half years old.
We need hearts.
and she's killing it.
Yeah.
She's killing it on Periscope.
So
That's
this is a
awesome.
young person's game, clearly.
Yeah.
You know what? So I've talked about this. I follow moto vloggers, and there's this
Yeah.
one woman, this one girl in Sweden, this one woman in Sweden
Yeah.
who does like stunt racing.
Mhm.
She did an AMA, and I could have sworn she was like 28 or 30.
Yeah.
She's 17 years
Oh.
old.
That's crazy.
Yes.
They look more mature than they are. Like that's
In
a good
Sweden?
genius. Anyone that's on TV usually does it. Looks like that.
You guys are so confused. We're old people, Taylor. That's what happens.
Ah.
Kyle's in his late 20s. We're in our 30s, and we're old.
Yeah.
We don't know how to do anything.
okay, I'm embracing
20 for the record. Why would you say 17 and a half? What are you talking about now?
I can't wait till I'm old and like people are like, "Oh, did you use that when you were a kid? Like, what is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's an iPhone." And they're gonna be like, "We have like brain phones now. Like, what are you talking about?"
Exactly.
But now I'm going to have to cut this podcast down because we edit out a clean version.
Keep an
No,
eye
this is all
out for
good.
our Bob Ross
Yeah.
what is this? Periscope coming soon.
It's not fine. Bob Ross on Periscope. So if Taylor's 20, I don't
You
think...
better not take that idea before I get to it. Taylor.
Very cool. Well, listen, thanks so much. This is the Not So Corporate podcast where where we normally talk about video production and corporate work, marketing, and we thought we would just try out. She has one thing to say.
Oh,
Okay, go for it. You're on stage. I have one thing to say.
drop the mic.
I wonder if she's trying to find out what our social insurance number is. She
Yeah.
has our ages.
Hello, sir, madame. I have informed you of a large sum of money.
maybe that's the new thing. Taylor, are you in Nigeria?
Please kindly forward your banking information.
Yes.
Western Union.
Unicorn. Is that the one thing you had to say? Unicorn?
I like unicorns.
I like it.
Or is that the password for my $11 million in a private funds in a Swedish bank that has to be that's all she had to say was unicorn. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us, Taylor, and everyone else. It's been fun here on Periscope. Maybe we should just do this again, like mount the camera.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea. It'd be funny.
Yeah. Sounds like a lot of fun. Anyway, there we go. So we are done that Periscope thing. I don't know how much fun that was for anyone else to listen to. I'm probably going to edit it down. But for myself, that was a lot of fun interacting with Taylor and my old music pastor at my church, Dave.
That was funny.
Yeah.
And he hasn't had the baby yet. So out of this, we've learned that if you keep talking, you're great.
Yeah.
If you're a young, attractive female, I imagine if you're a young, attractive male, you're going to do well as well. Yep. Or if you're a superstar who has access to other smart people, or you have a huge following like Taylor Swift or Madonna, then this is the medium for you.
So basically, to summarize, this app is not for smart and or ugly people.
No, I was going to say, like, isn't this just encouraging what Instagram already started? Like the whole, I can't think of the right word right now, but like you literally just care about yourself and are very vain.
Like egotistical, self-centered,
self-aggrandizing.
Yeah,
self-aggrandizing.
Basically, like you're just
like I don't want to get too much into the erosion of society.
Okay,
but I think
let's get away from that.
No, but I think social media does a really good job of making people feel shitty about themselves.
Yes,
because all you see from everyone else is the fake, marketed, polished world.
It's your curated
of their life.
Yeah.
Right? And so rather than,
Periscope is raw.
Rather than me saying like, hey, I know, at 2 a.m, when my one kid wakes up screaming with a fever and the other kid throws up all over their bed and we're stumbling around in our boxers just trying to get everyone back to sleep, let's Periscope that. No, instead we're like, look at how beautiful my children are. They're so well behaved. Like, I think we should have a real life movement. I think we should put up, like, hey, look at how crappy my dinner is because I'm a single man and I can't cook, so it's salami and mustard. Like, I don't think.
Let's
put it up.
Exactly.
Let's make people feel sorry for us. This is the new movement now.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
Like, what if you're in a situation that you don't know what to do, and you could just kind of instantly crowdsource solutions to that? Like
if you can get people on. So the thing with
cool.
Periscope is it pings anyone who's following and says they're live right now.
Right.
So the only reason that Dave, who's becoming a teacher, so he's off for summer, knows that we were on is because it pinged him and said, Phanta Media is live right now.
Right.
But I get pinged. I think that's the other thing that's going to become annoying, obviously, is let's say that you have 10,000 people you're following.
How could you use this for video marketing purposes?
That's a great question. So I think that what you said was really interesting in terms of taking content that's almost done and blasting it out. So just hold like hardcore. We kind of cheated by getting the phone to get clean audio off the soundboard through a pair of headphones and a microphone and tape, and we kind of just like. But if you can get clean audio and you can hold your camera in a proper way to get clean video, you can get in real time people's reactions to key moments. So it's like you're sitting in the theater or you've created something, you're showing something to someone, and that moment they get goosebumps, you can get hearts. When you're watching a movie, you go,
that would be cool.
When you're watching a movie and you go, oh shit, he's a murderer.
Can you imagine trailers like that?
Yeah. Or you just shot maybe a short movie.
Yeah.
You don't have the money to put it up on a big screen and get a target audience to come in.
But you get the oh shit moments. You get the moments where they're like don't go over there. Someone's carrying an axe or something, and that reaction, people will emote that through the app in real time.
Yeah.
So, but it's all about hacking, right? Like it's all about hacking better audio into your phone. It's all about hacking the best video you can get into there. For me, what it comes like, I think it's all about sharing extraordinary things. And so if you can give people access, if you can give people value, if you can share something that is interesting, and then I think what works better than anything else, like we just had a great conversation with Taylor. Clearly she's bored or something. I don't know. But I had a ton of fun talking to her. She said that the last ones she was on, people got mad at her for continually typing stuff, but it's the interaction that's fun. The thing that's not fun is just watching. Like if you just watch someone, then go to YouTube. Right. This is like the YouTube comment section and the trolling potentially, but the YouTube comment section and everything else in real time with what we determined quite a bit of lag.
Yeah,
So-
it's not a distribution software.
No.
This is a collaboration.
This is version
Yeah.
1 though.
Yeah.
Like imagine where they had to go with it.
You could break that. Like if you use the audience response thing, what if you could pay for a pro version, and then get all the analytics, which is
Oh,
basically just
yeah.
the reactions throughout with the stream, and then you look at that.
Okay, so
that would
so,
be crazy.
So there are research firms. Most large agencies work with research firms.
Mm-hmm.
You do research to set your control. You have a control group. You set your base standards, and then you always test against that.
Right.
People really have a hard time in research firms getting. It's best to get people into your room, which is hard.
Yeah.
The stuff on the internet's not so great for a control group and for doing research, but there are really smart people who could potentially use real-time stuff like this. And then if you can gather that information, like the old school, I don't know if people know, but in the old film worlds, when you're watching something, there's like a dial that you're turning, or for political things, there's a dial you're turning or buttons you're hitting in order to indicate to the system that you're more or less interested in what's
Right.
currently happening.
Right.
But if you could be doing that, maybe it
Right.
already exists, but in Periscope, that's huge. Because we could hack that. I mean, I think the
Yeah.
real power
Yeah.
in this is hacking it, right?
That's probably what they want.
Absolutely. Like I could see like a company like Nielsen incorporating something like this, or
Well, Kyle, sorry, to your point, what I think they want is I think they want you to take hot air balloons and go scuba diving and share your
Yeah.
vacation. Because all of the stuff they're pushing out is let others see your world through your eyes type thing.
Right.
right.
So you watching the guy in Tokyo or whatever making breakfast is cool, but it'd be a lot cooler if we can get over the language barrier and you can say, "Hey, flip your eggs," and he flips them. You know what I mean? Like there's something really weird about
I guess they're just aiming high.
performance.
They're aiming high with it. They
Yeah.
don't know what they're gonna get. Like when you think about Apple's promos for their stuff, like all the pictures you see are pretty attainable. Like, oh, I could go on a hiking trip too.
Yeah.
But this just seems to be aiming really, really high.
I think I'm super excited about this. I think as soon as we wrap up this podcast, which is a bit of a weird kind of test hybrid, it's not our normal podcast. Let's admit that. But
Right.
once we get off here, I think we're going to spend the rest of the day figuring out how we're going to use this better.
Yeah, I'm already starting to I really want to try this whole like visual fan fiction thing, where you just
That's awesome.
you shoot a movie or you start shooting something and then feedback comes in real time and you change it.
Boom. Here you go. So you write your choose your own adventure type thing.
Right.
So let's say that you wanted to plot out something with plot points, right? You jot down your multiple options for plot points, and then you just narrate it live to people. And you
Yeah.
say, here's where we're starting. Now, the only thing that kills me with this is people dropping in halfway through. That's the thing where it's
Yeah.
like you don't have a lock group. You kind of have to re-explain things. But let's say that you were to say, okay, so video opens or project opens on this. We introduce these characters. Should the characters be, I'm thinking they're going to be either 24 male, blah, 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 or 33, da, 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 da. Quick, sample pool. Which one's better? Great. And then this is going to go.
Yeah,
Now I'm thinking they're going to have a
exactly.
life moment. Should the life moment be
Exactly.
death of a parent? Should it be this or should it be that? Quick, great, fantastic. Or even if it's more corporate, it's like, hey, we're thinking about, this is huge for corporations because we're always trying to get people's feedback. Let's say we say, okay, so here are the 3 USPs we're focusing on. We're going to focus on this, X, Y, and Z. Which one as a group do you think is the most interesting thing for you? Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
Right.
Like Louis, we were talking about the podcast coming up, the upcoming topics on the podcast. And I rhymed off for you some things that we're going to be doing. Mm-hmm. And I was surprised that the one that's the least corporate, that's the most about life, is the one you said you're most interested in.
Right.
So imagine if we just periscoped. I mean, not imagine. Why don't we do that? Why don't we periscope out potential topics
Absolutely.
and say, this is what we're thinking about talking about. What should we do?
I think this is a way for us to, that's one way we could use it, immediately, would be to use it with the people who listen to this show. Trying to connect with them that way. I if I could just add one other thing.
I feel like there's some things we need to address.
You touched on something about how like people just kind of dropping in and not knowing what's going on. I feel like this year, what's really happening in a lot of the media is narrative incohesion. So I saw a very, very cool movie this summer called Mad Max Fury Road. And that movie did not have a lot of backstory.
No.
And I think the Marvel movies, in a lot of cases, don't have a lot of backstory. And I don't think that people are as concerned with every little detail or kind of the arc necessarily. I think people just want to get entertained or connect and have the conversation somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not getting all the information in one form. It's getting the bits and pieces filled in by other forms. So I just kind of wanted to touch on that.
There's just someone that seemed kind of like a shout out to Jeremy Curry. He's followed me on Twitter, but I'm sure he would like to follow Phanta Media as well. He's out in the West Coast, and he kind of does what we do.
So hold on. So you're going to now just start calling people out on the podcast and being like, hey, I want to give a shout out to Jamie Curry, who follows me but doesn't follow Phanta Media.
You should follow Phanta Media.
Why aren't you following our company?
We have a lot in common. I'm sure he'd like it.
Perfect. So speaking of which, because this is a bit of a weird episode, we're not going to do our normal breaks or normal transitions. We didn't do a normal opening or normal close. There's no question of the week this week. But if you made it this far in there, into the podcast, I would love to ask for some interaction, because the most fun we had with Periscope was interacting with Taylor, was interacting with Dave, who's going to have a baby. Is interacting with people. And we have a few key people on Twitter that, Premier Bro and a few other people that we love to joke around with and have fun with. But a big thing about doing this podcast is especially as we get, I think we're 4 or 5 months into this, is knowing what the audience wants to hear more about, more topics, more challenges, more questions, anything we can be doing to give the audience more information on what they want to hit on. So I'd love it if this week I could challenge everyone to drop us an email at feedback@notsocorporatepodcast.com, or hit us up on Twitter, or hit us up on Facebook. Find us somewhere on YouTube link. But we would love to know. One, what you guys think about what we're doing, if we're too broad, if we need to be more specific in our topics, if you have a specific question, if there's a certain part you like or don't like. Do you guys hate the opening banter? Do you like it? If you could let us know, that'd be super, super helpful, because starting in September, Leah's coming back full-time for us. We're going to be moving to 1 podcast per week. We are really going to be amping things up, and I really want to be able to turn to her as she comes in to produce this, where I don't have to produce it anymore, and say, how can we make this better? How can we do this? Because we're really doing it for the community of people like us who want to go out there, do the best work they can, make a living, and have some fun. And so with that, I'd like to thank you guys for being here. Thank you so much, Louis, for joining me today.
Thank you.
And Kyle, as always, it has been both professional and a privilege to have you here.
It's been swell.
It's been swell. Thanks so much for listening, guys. And as mentioned, we'd love to get your feedback, and we'll talk to you soon. Now, how do you stop it? I'm still going because I don't know how to stop it. We're not done the podcast
Double click,
yet.
close the app, force
Needs
quit.
to pay those. Swipe down to stop. Double tap to flip the camera. Let's see. Double tap. Oh, yeah. See, it's very foggy.
Are you sure it's not on the outside, though? Just like a little rub and then it's good?
Just a little rub and then
Sometimes
it's good.
that's all it is. Seriously.
Here we go. Old
It's
people.
true. Sometimes it is. That's all it is.
Old people out.